in the room. I will want to hear you, whether it is raise your hands, put something in the chat before we get into the meat of the matter. We want to understand what you're looking for real.
Mm-hmm. So I see here, Diana, that Casey, she wants to contribute to cultivating a culture. So, you know, that's cultivating a winning culture. And Kareem, it's Kahim. Is it Kahim? Or is that, yes, Kahim. I hope I got that right. Please forgive me. How to create and nurture the culture in my business.
Great.
Yes. Then we have some human resource practitioners. Thank you, Suzette, who are wanting to find out culture is important to the organization. Somebody's looking to assist her team. Dominic. Yes, or his team. So Diana, why don't you start by telling us just
SME, they're going to share and they will look to us for guidance as it relates to how to move the slides.
Yes.
So you wanted me to you wanted to share a little bit, Lisa Maria, before I get in?
Yes, before you get in. So
okay,
you know, just jump right in. I know you have an intro, but just tell the team, I mean, let's just define what culture even is. I know that might be off script, right? Okay. But there's no script tonight.
No script tonight.
So start with, what is culture?
For us, culture is, you know, there's a way where you can have all different kinds of stuff up on a wall. And you can have, when you walk in, you're like, wow, no, that mission statement is so inspiring. And those words are so nicely put together. And, oh, wow, you know, how did they come up with that? Who crafted that? And they think, and you can think that that's the core of your culture. But from my experience, the culture is how people feel about the place, how they experience the place. And when I say people, I'm speaking of internal and also external, the essence of how people experience the organization. That is where the culture is. And then, of course, it translates into performance, it translates into results and all those kinds of stuff. But the thing that I can say is where you can, if you want to really identify, so like when people interact with JMMB, they say all different kinds of stuff. And one thing that people will always say is, wow, you just feel different when you go there. And so they don't even know the details of the culture, but how you feel about the place, the experience that you get. So that's the essence of how I would say it from a layman perspective.
Would you call it like DNA? The DNA, the innate thing. You can't put your finger on it, but it's there. And it leaves you feeling a way.
Correct. That thing you can't really put your finger on. So you don't really know what it is, but you know that you feel it. People will say, you know, I don't even know what it is. I can get the same products, I can get the same this, but then you just feel different when you walk into the place. And that's what it is.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Over to you. Jump right in.
Okay, good. So some of what we want to share today. First, we want to do an introduction, and the introduction is basically going to be tying together where SMEs could be and connect it with with JMMB. And we're using JMMB as like a case because many persons here are familiar with it, and we could actually go and we could identify Zappos or Apple, or we could identify Amazon, or there are many other organizations that we can read about and they have strong culture. But the reason we are using JMMB is because of the connection with you as SMEs, and also in the Caribbean right here in front, you know, with us, and just to understand how a culture can emerge from the same place where you guys are as SMEs. Yes, so that's why we do that introduction and using JMMB as a case. And then looking at winning culture, looking at culture shifts as we are navigating this new normal. What are some of the differences that you will see, and how you need to come to the table differently in order to build a strong culture and to maintain what you have, and then what you can do to reset, some wrap up and question and evaluation. So that's pretty much where what we'll be looking at today. So you think that we should, if we look at it like that, Lisa Maria, we should be able to.
You're good. You're good. I have questions already, so I'm just waiting for you to get through.
So the people at they're moving the slides for us. So yes. Go right ahead.
You can go ahead without it, man.
I know. All right, so this is where we engage and have get an understanding from the people we have in the room. Why, really and truly, why are SMEs in business? Because you know what happened? There's a way that you can live a nice, fabulous life without going out there and putting yourself out there and taking all this risk and everything. So can we get some sharing? And I know this is where Lisa Maria really wants to moderate this part, because sharing and understanding of why are SMEs in business.
Yes.
To offer a service, says Simone. Fulfill needs.
Yes. I think most people would say to make some money, Diana.
Oh, yes.
You want to make some money.
Yes, you want to make some money. You want to make profit.
Yes.
You want to create wealth. You want to solve a problem, of course.
Yes.
And you have a dream. Don't forget that part.
Yes.
You have a dream and you want to see it become a reality. Support the national vision, yes? Mm-hmm. Leave a generational legacy.
Perfect. Yes. Some really lofty ideas. I think I want to make some money would be number one, maybe number two, number three.
And I love that idea of creating the generational wealth and leave a legacy. Yes. So on my next slide, I just want to connect how that, so JMMB, I know that a lot of persons here and people in the Caribbean, people all over, have benchmarked JMMB. We are like, people like look to how we have created what we have created since 1992. So I want to say that back in 1992, just from my experience of being in the place from so long, back in that, you can just continue to advance this slide, Tanise, all the way. So we came here because we don't, no, go back to that, go back, thank you. Go back. Yes, leave it right there, thank you very much. So like other persons in the room, JMMB, we had a dream that we wanted to realize, and we wanted that dream to impact the nation and impact the region and impact the world. We had a mission, we had a vision, we had strategy that we pulled together. Also, we had the same profitability, want to get to sustainability, want to grow, want to accomplish some level of success and leave a legacy. And we wanted to be able to attract customers and clients, and we wanted to be able to attract the best talent, and also we want to be able to attract investors. So we were at the same place, and the reason I want to stress this and I want to make the connection is because where JMMB is today, where we are today, it is easy to think, to see us like, oh my God, JMMB, we're all the way out there and I'm just this small SME, how am I gonna even get there? We want to say that same goals and same aspirations that you have, we had them when we started, and we were at the same place as you are now. Mm-hmm. And then took off. So the next slide, I want to just say, as I'm connecting for you, I want to look at I want to just tell you straight up that the journey was far from easy. Where you are today, I want you to understand that we were there. For us, it was similar to this image you're looking at right here. It was as if we were driving the train, and while we are driving the train, we are laying the tracks. Now, if you can even slightly imagine that, then you will know that it was not an easy road. And you guys are probably someplace here. So we are trying to set the stage. We are showing you, you already seen JMMB's culture. You're seeing where we have gotten to. But we don't want to let it be like, oh, JMMB's is great. Yeah, we want to take you through the journey so you understand and connect that you can go through the same road and you can get to where you want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to move the slide along. Thank you very much, Denise. All right, so a couple of things happened. So we had a dream. We needed to get support. We needed to get funding. We had multiple setbacks like many of you are going to have, and that's normal. We eventually got funded and we registered a company and we started off at home like many SMEs will. And then we opened an office, we got some people on board and we got an office and we started. So you get to see that the journey is not a far-fetched, like it's not, we never had legacy money. We had to come through and work our way up. So I'm still, what I'm doing here is connecting so that you can understand wherever you are in the process, we were there too. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to take you to, next slide. Thank you very much, Denise. I want to focus, I wanted to let you know what we were focusing on. So early days, the focus for us, we focused on the team, bringing the team together. So we wanted to ensure that the team experience, you can just keep moving the slide on, Denise. The experience of the team, we were very clear of what we wanted that to be. So we had a dream, we had a strategy. No, yeah, we had a dream, we had a strategy, we had a mission, and we pulled that together. And we wanted to ensure that we put that dream was affording and allowing investment opportunities to be open up to the ordinary Jamaican. That was our dream. Whatever your dream is, put that on your notes and focus on that. And how we made sure to pull that together, we pull in practices that could help us to inspire and empower team members so that they became owners of the dream. That's very important in your process. As you are building out your process, the people who you have around you, it's important to make it such that they are so inspired. They are inspired and they are empowered to own that dream. Because remember, you can't do it alone. You need the support. But when the people are on board, if they're not able to see themselves in that dream, then it's going to be a little bit difficult.
So Diana,
yes, ma'am.
Stick a pin. So I saw the question earlier. Somebody asked, how do you get the staff to project the culture? And so what you're saying is, I heard you say, get the team together.
Yeah, man.
I am hearing you say.
Yes. I love that question. I love that question because let me tell you, I'm going to tell you some of the questions that people ask me all the time. Like my friends out there in the world will say to me, Dana, where you guys get those people from at JMMB? How you get them to, be so, like they own the thing, and they're it's like that it's their company. Let me tell you what happened. It is impossible to create something for external unless the same thing is being experienced internally. So that's the first thing. So when we say we inspire and empower, it is all about getting, first of all, how you get people to feel like they are equally accountable and responsible is to have them experience the same thing. So when we are saying that we wanted to be the undisputed leader in client experience, for example, first, we started by ensuring that the team members felt the service that we are trying to give to our clients and our customers. Yes. Once you can start to, once you create the experience internally, that is how it will look to the clients, because they are now going to be able to sell it to the clients because they are experiencing it.
Yeah, Diana, you made a really great point about also earlier about inspiring people to become owners of the dream. And, I remember, of course, we've heard the story, you sort of grew up in JMMB, you hear the story from day one. Talk to us a little bit, sidebar, about becoming owners of that dream and some of the things that a company can do to make sure that even a small business, if you're going to hire one person, if it's your husband, your children, how do you get people to buy into that?
Well, of course, I can only go from experience, right? So how it happened with us at JMMB, from the early days, Joan Duncan wanted to make sure that no team member felt like they were less than anybody else in the organization. So they did not feel that they were less than her or any leader. So when you start to set it up like that, where people can push back, they can ask questions, they can say, oh, I don't understand this, or they can share their ideas about how they think something could work better. There's a way where us in the Caribbean, we were brought up under the more hierarchical structure. And so when we're building organization, it is almost automatic for us to set it up in that kind of way where, okay, come listen, man, I'm the manager or I'm the leader. So I give you the orders and you take it and you follow it and you make sure that you do it as I say. That is not going to help you so much in terms of creating inspiration and empowerment. But when somebody who's a team member who is building something get to feel like they can share an idea because remember, people are people, and they know once you see something and you're able to say, oh, I think we could do it this way, or you know what, and somebody will listen to you. That is how people become little by little empowered and inspired to keep growing and to keep owning the thing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So we had a dream, we had the mission and all those things, and then we had to focus on pulling together proper systems and processes. And these are some of them. I'm not going to go into all of them because I know already that SME people start to feel nervous about the time and want to make sure that I am keeping to the time as much as possible. So the selection, but let me tell you, I want to go through some of them a little bit. You see, if you don't try to get the right people in your team, you're in problems, big problems. You need to make sure that you're rigorous about selecting the right people, because it is easy to say, you know what, my mother have a cousin who need a work. And so therefore, I'm going to take that cousin to, and this cousin look like they can count, and I need an accountant or I need something. So I'm going to get this cousin. I'm not saying no, but what I'm saying is important that you understand what you're trying to build and select select the right person for the role, the person who consistent with the mission, the vision, the strategy, the dream that you have. And then I want to also talk about onboarding. You see, when you have those things, guys, listen, you have to be, I'm not telling you to go and create no big SWOT orientation and onboarding process, even though those things are helpful too. But what I'm saying is when people join, you need to make sure that they understand upfront what it is that you stand for and where are the non-negotiables. Those are the, those are some of the key things in the onboarding process. And then of course, they help them to understand how their role and clarity around what expectations and all those kinds of stuff. Another important thing is training, performance measurement, because if you don't go and measure it, you can forget about it. Leadership modeling is very important. So if you say that your values and your core principles, for example, be open, or say it is integrity, and then you're acting in a way that is inconsistent as a leader, you're starting the problems right there. So you need to be consistent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then governance, of course, once you're starting a company, you need to understand clear governance. So those are some of the things that we had to focus on. Communication mechanisms and channels important. And then creating experiences, guys, listen to me. Internally and externally, you need to make sure that your internal people are experiencing the fabulous, amazing service that you want to deliver externally, or else it is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. So Diana, I think it was Peter Drucker who said, culture eats strategy for breakfast,
lunch, and dinner. What I would say. So I'm
right. And what you just described is all the strategic elements of the business.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you see the culture trumping the strategy. Okay. And we've had that experience, right? We can speak to that firsthand.
Well, for me, right, I don't think you can be serious about culture if it is separate from your strategy. So that's the key. That's the first thing. So I'm not even sure if I want to agree so much with Peter, even though I know what he means, because I want to say to Peter is strategy and culture live at the same table, and they are different sides to the same hand, right? And that's my new. As a matter of fact, my coach told me recently that I'm a thought leader, so I need to write that down as my Peter Drucker argument. Yes, so that's the truth. I mean, yes, I understand what he's, why the quote, but I'm saying that they're the same. And when you start to separate it, that's when you have a problem, because guess what happens? You're going to have it set up where, oh, that's culture. And this is serious business, it's strategy. Yeah. And you have a problem, because it's going to be a fight where this is culture and this is strategy, and it's not that. It's the same thing. So there needs to be a strategic positioning of culture in the organization.
Yes. And that's one of those things that JMMB has done really well, because our culture has actually contributed to our profitability. That's why people come to us. And, for small businesses, if you get it right, you're building it from scratch now, people are going to return to you because of how they feel. Exactly. And because of the culture that you have embedded in the organization.
How so make it feel. Yes. So that's important. Next slide, Denise. All right, so it's a good time to engage and to understand where are you and what are you focusing on as an SME, as you're here looking at this conversation about culture. What is it for you? Where are you? So this is your opportunity to engage with us. I was gonna say Lisa Maria, but I know I'm just kidding and troubling her. and somebody monitoring the chat, right? So we know where what's coming in and what we can say. But it's very important as you are looking at putting down that foundation about culture, you need to be clear where you are you and what you're focusing on. And you can be anywhere on that spectrum of building culture, because sometimes, you already define you know what your dreams are, you already define your mission and your strategy, but then you need to understand where you are as it relates to the leadership modeling and putting all the processes in place and all those kinds of stuff. So wherever you are, this conversation is for you. You can just identify yourself somewhere along that spectrum. Next slide. But seriously, when you're trying to make money and all you want to do is all you're thinking of is making money, who really care about culture, don't it? Many people will say that. And there are many persons who, and that's when you have the strategy and culture. When you have it separate, then that's the time when you start to ask those questions. But when you start to understand the importance of culture being a strategic positioning of culture, that is where you have that that's where you can understand, okay, if you are going to build an organization, culture and strategy collide, and they become one.
There's a question I want to throw it at you as it's here from Pale. Do the earlier processes guide your culture, or does the culture guide the processes? So it's the chicken and the egg. Which comes first?
Okay, so let me just let me for transparency. When we started the organization, we were clear on, as I showed earlier, and we will share this presentation so you can keep, have it. We were clear that we wanted to be able to open up investment to the ordinary Jamaican people. We were clear on how we wanted team members to feel and how we wanted them to own and how we wanted to become the undisputed leader in client care. So those were the only things that we focused on at the time. And so with that in mind, everything that we did, all the processes ended up being consistent with that core. So for example, how we want team members to feel, wanted to feel like they're equal, and we wanted them to experience equity. So that was when Mrs. Duncan said, no, well, if we're going to talk about equity, we have to give them some shares in the business. We have to put in place the ESOP plan. If we're going to talk about people being able to share their ideas, that is why that is written in the vision of love. If we're going to talk about wellness, then we have to build out the processes to suit that. So it's very important. Everything that you are doing after you decide this is where you want to go, then every single thing, and this is the challenging part, because sometimes you might want to say, no man, we can't do that, but then change the vision then, because that is where you're going to lose people when they start to experience the inconsistencies. So if you say this is who you are, and then you start to, this is difficult, so you're going to move away from that, and you're going to move away from that, then people start to experience inconsistency with the vision that you stated, and then that is where you lose people. And you're going to lose people once, even if it's the slightest inconsistency. I'm going to tell you one short story. We at JMMB, when we started the company, and it's funny how I can't disconnect myself with JMMB, even though I am consulting with them, but because it's hard because I work with the company before I born. I mean, I'm kidding, but I've been there from the beginning. So even now that I'm not there as an employee, I still going to say we, and just forgive me about that. And don't forgive me anyway, that's normal. So we started, and we have this, a part of who we are, our core, is that equity and equality was important, right? So we have that. And then we make sure that everything we build out is consistent with that and all those kinds of stuff. And then one day, years down the road, we came up with something that was inconsistent with that equality and everybody treated equally. And let me tell you how simple it was. You know that parking space is a normal thing at most organizations where the executives get some big sort of fabulous parking different from everybody else, right? Well, we had a little situation and we created some parking space around the back. And when one morning we come to work and we had these parking space that says reserved parking, right? Of course, I came in and because I know myself, I said he must reserve for me. So I parked there and I never said anything. But this team member who saw the reserve parking and also know that we say everybody treated equally, started a conversation to ask the question, how can we be talking about everybody treated equally and we have separate parking and all those kinds of stuff? Well, listen to me. That went so far that by the end of that week, we had to paint out those reserve signs and say it's open parking, anybody can park there. And then when the time comes where we have board meeting or wherever, people will move and we'll put a cone and we work out an understanding. No, why I share that example is because you have to be consistent. You have to be like everything, all of your processes have to be consistent with what you say, or else you're going to lose people. And when you lose people, that is when you have the bit where you can't understand why people don't buy in or those kinds of stuff.
Diana, I want to take you to, and just share with the group when we were rebranding in Trinidad and Tobago, how important it was to do it inside out.
Exactly.
That we spent more time branding on the inside so that team members understood JMMB, because we were moving and I guess that may come out at the end, who cares about culture? And when you have to, your culture has to traverse, borders or go to, for instance, you may want to open a second business. How do you translate that culture? And just to underscore the point of doing it inside out. So it must be on the inside, there must be authenticity of what you say and what you do, and then you'll be able to translate it consistently. Diana, before you jump back in, I want to, somebody's, it's, let me just check it. It's Andrea is talking about culture can be hard to define depending on the industry you're in. And she says she's still trying to figure out what she wants for her haulage and site equipment business. How important is it is education level to culture? And that's a great question that I want you to, and I know it's going to come out as part of what you're talking about.
First of all, I'm not going to be shy in telling Andrea to call me so that we can call much more so we can give you some support. I'm not going to get shy, I'm not going to be shy about that. So because we are going to be able to support you, that's the first answer. And then the next thing, let me tell you something. Remember what I said earlier, the essence of it. So you have all kind of details, but the essence of it is how people feel. That's the essence, So you can create all different kinds of words and whatever. But how you're gonna make sure that you are defining the culture and then you are pulling together experiences internally for people such that they can translate that externally. And there are a lot of pieces in between that's wrapped up in that we'll have to have a different conversation about, but that's the key. It's not no fanciness except how people feel. When the haulage guys feel that they are important to what is happening here, everybody that they encounter feel the same.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
So I've actually, there was a poll while you were chatting, there was a little poll. Do your processes guide your culture? And, 48% said yes, 52% said no. So there's a whole lot of room for growth in terms of making sure to align who you want to be with how you do business. I think that's the point Diana is making.
And that's what that is. All right, so the Harvard Business Review, as far as they're concerned, Lisa Marie, you can read this for me?
Sure. What exactly is a winning culture? It's a way to help your team members perform better, and by extension, your organization. So it's a winning culture if
Again,
if it's delivering the goods. That's an
exactly.
important takeaway. It's
Exactly.
winning if it's all well and good for people to love you, but if you're not delivering the goods, the
Forget about it.
profitability, the sustainability, then it's probably not a winning culture. And the
Exactly.
second definition, of course, is high performing companies think about culture differently. They know that winning cultures are not just for affiliation. That's just what I said. They are also unashamedly about results.
About
So I
results.
didn't even read that, but that's what it is.
Exactly. And I wanted you to read that because I wanted a different voice in the room.
Yes.
It's very important that you understand that when you come into JMMB as a team member, you're going to experience love, you know, but here the plan. We are also very clear that we are a financial institution, we are a business, we are about profitability, we are about growth and sustainability. And so the results important, but the processes that we build out support that. Remember we said about the selection, the onboarding, the training, the performance measurement, all of those things, they come together such that you can get the results. So that's exactly, this is what a winning culture is.
Yeah, so we spoke about that earlier, profitability and culture, that they go together. It's not, you don't have to choose. It's really to be a winning culture. It means that you're having the success you want to have. I think that's an excellent takeaway, Diana. Keep going.
Yeah. Somebody moving the slides?
Yes.
Or me?
Yes.
All right. So I don't want you to think like, oh man, I can't wait to be like JMMB. They're so perfect. Everything went well. No. You see, all the things that we're telling you, a lot of them we learned them in hindsight, because when we started in 1992, do not think that we came with no big, fabulous culture development plan. So we are actually, this is why it is so useful, this conversation. If I were an SME, this is where I would be sitting at JMMB's feet, because we walk the road and we are now here saying, sharing freely. And this is the thing about JMMB, you don't have to worry about us, because we are going to freely share, because what we want to do at JMMB, as you will see when you go on JMMB's website and read the vision of love, you will realize that JMMB, we're not just about building JMMB, but we want to build a nation, a world. And so we learn the lessons and we want to share it. So some of the pitfalls that we ended up with, even when we are telling you, focus on selecting the right people, we have made a lot of selection mistakes that we have to correct as we go along. We have made a lot of onboarding mistakes. When we never started doing formal and proper onboarding, we didn't have a proper onboarding process until 1996, when we realized that the growth is overtaking us and we started to lose some of the essence of what we wanted, because as you're growing, that is when you have to be more deliberate and more rigorous around the processes. We were just, people were coming in and they were onboarded almost like osmosis, and you learn it from this person, and we were losing the essence until 1996. We said, all right, no, there's a problem here. And we started to put the rigor in place. So almost nobody joined the organization without going through a proper orientation and onboarding process. Some other pitfalls, when you sometimes you neglect to engage employees, where we as I told you about that example about the, with the parking space, and we have many others that we forget that it's important to engage and to get people to understand, to feel like a part of something. We learn that. So no, we don't make those mistakes. We start to say, okay, this is what we're thinking of, and we start to get engagement all the way through the organization, because not like we are saying we're stalling and everything we have to have everybody's voice in, but we certainly need for people to be a part of what is happening so that they can own it. Yes, Lisa Maria.
Yes, I was actually going to say one of the mistakes I think we have made is holding on to someone who doesn't fit the culture too long.
Oh Lord.
We we want them to fit, and that's a great lesson for entrepreneurs as well. When you've made a bad choice, whether it's a business line or whether it's a person, it's
accept it quickly and move on.
Fail fast.
Yourself. Quick time. I say, you know what, this never work. Take all the upset and the cursing and take all the what's gonna happen, and oh Lord, the cousin going to be upset with you because you're going to have to tell their, you know, the auntie to leave, and just take it. You will get over it. Believe me, we have made those mistakes and we learn from it. As we are here, let me tell you, we are not just operating strongly and successfully in Jamaica, Trinidad, and the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is a Spanish-speaking country, and we were able to build our JMMB there because of all of these practices that I'm sharing with you, because we decided to take the path, stay the path, and to just keep our heads down and be rigorous without like, I mean, some of the times it felt like, is this really going to work? But we said, no, we're sticking to it and we're moving it through. Someone said sometimes, I saw that nice comment in the chat. What's that?
Holding on too long when your selection does not fit. Critical. Yes, yes. Loving too strong, we call that. You know, sometimes it's just not a good fit and it's okay.
Yes, so some symptoms of the weak culture, and we have others, right? Where you have the mission and you have the vision and you have the dream and you build out the strategy and then it's not being realized because one, you're either not managing performance, you are not selecting the right people, you're not putting training into place, you have too much inconsistencies and, you know, too many things that you're thinking, oh God, too hard to measure those things. Let me tell you something, guys. I have to say this as I'm talking about hard, difficult to measure. When you have intangibles such as soft, they're not technical, and I don't like to call them soft because they're not really soft. They're very important, but sometimes you can't, when you can't manage, when you can't measure it, or you can't really pinpoint it, you get a little bit cute and you're like, well, you know, it's not objective, so you leave it. Even when you're feeling it, you know that something is not working. Find a way, guys, pull the thing together. I said that I can help you with, that's what we do. We can help you to say, okay, look here, these are the intangibles. This is what it means when it is present. This is what it means when it is not present. Because unless you're able to measure and to call people out for the intangibles, then you will allow yourself to tolerate. And when you start tolerate, then you're going to lose that vision and mission that you set for yourself. So you're not operating, you're not being profitable because you're not focusing on performance. You start to focus on the wrong things, and then you start to build out solutions and product that the clients stop needing, and you're holding on to it even when it's not working, and all those kinds of stuff. And then of course, say if you don't have loyal, if you're not able to retain loyal internal clients and external, then your business is going to fail. Then you're going to have all the losing profitability and all those things.
Right. And we can, this is where now, Dana, I know we can talk about the symptoms of a weak culture. We can talk about all the great stuff. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. I want to move us to the meat and potatoes. Okay,
move to the next slide because it's right there.
How to build. No, I want to get to the how to build. What do the SMEs have to do to build a strong culture?
All right. So first I want to say this strong culture, and looks like something like this, right? Remember we just said a while ago, where you have the loyal, satisfied, you have the attractive to investors, you're able to retain talent and all those kinds of stuff. And then I want to go to the next slide, because I tried my best to pull that slide together, and just enter and pull up, just bring in all of the pieces, and I'll speak to them. So this is an iceberg, and what happens in the iceberg is you see everything at the top there, and it's easy to get attracted to all of what is at the top and stay focused on that, and then forget about the work that is required below for you to get to what you want to see on the top. So let me tell you something. You have to find the ways, and as I said, this is the work that I do. I love this work. Sometimes if I never had a coach and somebody to help me to manage the bottom line, I would just work and do this work because I love it so much. I love to see organizations develop. So you need to make sure that you're clear about your mission, your values, and your core principles. That's very important. And then you need to pull together a mindset in the organization that everybody can rally around. And I'm going to give you quickly the mindset that we rallied around at JMMB. It's simple. We have all different kinds of fancy stuff, but the simple one was we were always in solutions mode. What that means is we don't see problems, not like the problems are not there, but we focus on what is the solution that we can find. That is one mindset. And then we got ourselves to the place where, because we're in solutions mode, we're not stopping the train. Not like we're not building out behind the scene, but we are still moving. So this is where we had that mindset of driving the train while laying the tracks. Now it can look like anything else to you in your organization, but when you're in solutions mode, you can manage everything. And then we had sound selection process. Those are the things that SME have to do. You have to find a way to have those sound selection process such that you can get the right person on the bus in the organization. You need to make sure that you are rigorous. When I say rigorous, I mean you can't say, well, this is my good friend, so therefore I cannot be so tight on this thing. You have to be rigorous to make sure that you are creating positive experiences in the organization, meaning that how are your people feeling must be at the top of your mind all the time, and you're pulling together. You don't have, it doesn't have to be fancy, but if in your mind you are constantly wondering, how are my people feeling? What one or two or three or how much things I can do differently to enhance how they're feeling, because how they feel depends on how your external people feel. And then build out the operational structures and all those kinds of stuff. Put it in place. Those are the work. That's the work. It's a lot of work. So when I'm going to tell you, I'm giving you this information, but I want to tell you, many times people focus right up here on the top, and this is what the winning culture is. And you see this, but you don't understand the details of the work that happens underneath there. So this is where you have to reach out, you have to get support, or, just get the support. It's available.
Thank you, Diana. Diana, somebody's asking a question. It's an excellent question. How long before you build this winning culture, right? So everybody, I love it. In a microwave packet. I want to be able to say Shazam. But let's be real. Let's be real about how long it takes. And it's still taking to build a winning culture.
Still building a winning culture. I am forever in meetings, tweaking and figuring out, because I still work with JMMB, thank God. I still consult with JMMB, and it's an honor for me that, I come to the system and I'm now out with my own thing, and I'm still consulting with JMMB about building culture and maintaining and solidifying. we are always in the process, because you understand, for when you bring on new people and when you are growing and when the world is changing and when everything is happening, you are always in that process. We don't get there yet. We are still building out. We are still tweaking. We are still pulling things together. Yeah. However, we have the processes being tightened such that there are team leaders who, if they're employing someone in for their team, they're so sold on the process of bringing someone on that they will call out to say to CHDT, which is our version of HR in JMMB, please make sure that this person goes through orientation. There was a time when orientation was seen as a bother to the strategy, yeah. Even in with our same JMMB. But now, because it has now proven itself as the winning formula, people will reach out and say, can you please make sure that my people go through these processes, because they understand. So to me, it's a job, and it's constant. There's never going to come a day when you can say, oh wow, look at us,
we're fixed.
Culture.
I actually want to add to that, Diana, and say that one of the things that JMMB has done well is codify the culture, meaning we have documented it, we have repeated it and repeated it and repeated it, such that it is part of its DNA we spoke about, right? So it's part of the organization. And I think that has really been a key success factor. In fact, up to this week, we're in orientation in Trinidad and Tobago, and a manager asked to beg off. They said, oh, I have this person, but I have so much for them to do. Can we do it another time? And of course, the answer is no. Don't rob them of the opportunity to land right
on their feet and to be able to manage, because when people come in, they don't understand, then they go in and they get lost.
Yes.
And that is how you dilute the thing. We know, because we used to do it. It's not until when we realize that it is going to screw us up, I mean royally, sorry, I mean that in a good way. When we realize that it's going to cause a big problem for the organization, that we said, okay, no compromise on this part of the thing.
And there's a question in the chat from Tamara about how do you maintain the culture operating during this COVID time? I think that's another excellent question, right?
We're going next. That's where we're going next, because yes. In this COVID time, and then it's important to understand how this COVID time connects with the foundation. Because I read somewhere where they say that the challenges that most persons are having right now with COVID, it is showing up who you are more than creating, it is showing up all of the weaknesses in the system. So we are inside of this the whole COVID time. We are able to build on the foundation that we had. We have to reimagine, and we have to do things differently, but because we have that foundation. So for example, some of the things, and you can just move these slides along, and I'll tell you where to stop. Because I want to talk, I know that this is a question that people really, really want to have answered, and we're all right. So some of the shifts that you can stop here, go back to that. So some of the shifts that we made at JMMB, we were able to quickly move to work from home. And I mean the team, Cecile and her team, our CHDT and the whole team, they worked together on an amazing remote work policy and process, that because of where people are in terms of we build up that place where people are empowered and they feel a sense of ownership. Being autonomous is kind of like automatic and easy. All we needed to do was to put some processes to it and to say, when you're working from home, these are the guidelines, these are the things that will help you to be successful. how do you manage yourself? How do you manage, how we manage performance during this period? All of those things, we just had to tweak them a little bit because we had the foundation. But being autonomous is a place where, unless that is happening now in this new normal, it's going to be challenging for your culture to be maintained. But we are able to do it. I mean, the remote work process, it's new, and it's in its first phase, and it so far it's very successful. People are welcoming it. People love the fact that they're able to work from home and do school from home and have their family from home and take care of their dogs and everybody in this time. But it was easier because we had that place where the empowerment started from earlier. So the next thing is being agile. And if we're in this whole place of doing things quickly, making the shift and moving and not getting stopped, because we had that foundation of being in solutions mode and driving the train while laying the tracks, because right now, look at it, it's different tracks we're laying again. You think we can stop the train? No, we have to keep moving. But because of that foundation, it becomes easier for us. Not saying that it is smooth sailing, because it's not going to be, but these are some key pieces that you need to look at as organization as you're looking at this new normal. You have to make things move fast. So how you do it, and this is where we can have the conversation and support how you can pull that together. Yeah. Next. The collaboration. Hello. If you are not in a place where, remember we said we build the organization where everybody can share their ideas. You get a chance to say, no, this work, this don't work, or what I think about this. You need this more than you needed it before. But this is what it looked like. We were calling it teamwork earlier, but now it is really a different level of collaboration that's required for the organization to stay afloat in this new normal. So these are some of the things that we're able to do, and then now we have to pull different processes in place to enhance it and to make sure that it is going, it is impacting the organization, and that we are accomplishing the results even more. When I saw how quickly we are a financial institution, we don't know anything about medical supplies or that, and we had a team or facilities team sat in a room, came together, bounced some ideas off each other, and we were building face shield that we were able to donate to the medical community. No, that is because of that whole foundational idea that we have developed that says always being in solutions mode. Find a solution, and they found a solution, and we were building face shield at JMMB. So I'm just saying, the foundation that you have help you even more in this normal. Be innovative and hold that continually learning. That's the thing. Continuous improvement. That's the normal. That's where we started at JMMB. And then in this whole thing, so for example, when we started this Zoom live, this virtual live, we were learning how to do Teams for, as one example. No, let me tell you, everybody in JMMB can train on not everybody, but many people can train on Teams and how to change your background, how to do this, and how to have events in Teams and all those kinds of stuff. We never know it before, because we never had to do it that much. But no, it's now a big deal, and everybody in it, and Zoom and all those different stuff. So it's like how we learn, and when you have the foundation that I shared earlier, then all these things become like that.
Yes, I actually wanted to share that, we have even been able to do social cohesion via online, we have meetups, we have limes, we have fun nights, parties.
Or our Christmas party was virtual, and it was amazing. We had award ceremony because of the connection that we have, and how we so when I saw the award ceremony, oh no, I mean, that was just like blown away. It was just so amazing. And all of the parties and all of the different things that we do every Thursday, link up, and entrepreneurial. That's a new, that is needed more than ever in the new, in this new normal. Everybody own the thing. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. Everybody own the thing. So when you are coming into, when you meet up on a challenge, and the security guard or the receptionist or somebody at a level different from a manager or a supervisor can say, this is my idea, this is what I'm thinking that we could do to move the line or to get people to feel comfortable when they're waiting or whatever. And we're like, oh, you know, let's implement that. It's that when you have that kind of foundation where people feel like a part of the thing, that is where you get that spirit and it just moves.
Yes.
I'm sure they have some other slides.
There's one more. As you put it up there, Tamara had a question, and I think it's such a great, she had a comment. I own a restaurant and we have a great culture, but it's not winning. I'm focused on realigning, restructuring, and actually just surviving. And I think, you know, some of these, you've given 6 great nuggets here. And you know, in terms of how do you keep it going, I think it's really important for us to recap it for them. You know, building the autonomy, the agility of the organization, being collaborative with the team, the innovation and learning, entrepreneurial, and being client focused. And if you bring those things together, that sounds like a solution to me, Diana.
Yeah. There was something, right? I'm gonna tell you guys. You see, when this whole COVID thing bust, no, when COVID appeared, JMMB, we had to stop and figure out how the thing went work, right? Because you have to be prepared, and you have to think through what's gonna happen, what might happen, and all those things. And people, the team member on the ground came and said, you know what happened? If we get to that place, I'm willing to give up this X amount of hours or cut my thing by this or figure out this so that we can all keep everybody. Now that is that level of entrepreneurial ownership that you build when you start from the processes that we have shared earlier. When you bring the people on board such that they feel like they own the thing, and that is the entrepreneurial spirit that you build when people feel. And that's why I said earlier, it is how you experience the thing. Yes, you can have all kinds of stuff, and yes, it will lead to performance and to results. But in the essence, how do people feel? So yes.
Yes. So I know you're going to talk a little bit about digital, but I'm just moving you along a little bit.
I want you to move me along.
Yeah,
please.
I'm moving you along a little bit because I want to get to it because there's a question. What would your advice be to building and maintaining trust in a team? And then, you know, Horace is making a comment that the leadership sets the tone. So let's talk.
Conversations about the trust, because the trust is built when there is consistency with what we say and what people experience. That I don't know a lot of other strategies to build trust, except people experience who we say we are. That's the key.
I think so. That's the bottom line. There's no other way to do it.
So we're gonna drop these questions. We're gonna share these next couple of slides with you, because when you get to this place, you can just go back a little bit so I can go a little bit. Thank you. I want to go further back from wrap up, but anyway, yeah.
So we do want to leave some
Diana, do
questions
you
for
want to
your.
go first?
Yes, I want to share. I want the participants to understand that we're going to send you from question one from this slide to a couple of slides down. We want you to be able to check your organization, check what's happening with you in these areas, so that when you talk to much more about helping you to build out your culture and to support you, to move you along, you are able to see and identify where exactly you are on this whole spectrum of getting to building culture. Yeah. Because you're going to be somewhere, and you everybody's going to have a different challenge. Yeah. But it's all wrapped up in the process and the how you get from where you are with your mission and your vision and your strategy to where you want to get to as it relates to the results, the sustainability, the profitability, the performance, and engage internal and external clients. That's pretty much what it is. And I understand the time constraint and we need to wrap up, but I want to leave some opening for questions, Lisa Maria, so we can just
absolutely. Actually, I want to share before we go, because I would love people to open mic and ask some questions of you.
But camera, you know how I love to see people.
Yes, there's a poll up. Have you implemented any of these measures? Some people have, 70%, which is awesome, and 30% have not. So, you know, we're dealing with a group of small SMEs that have started to do the work. Before you go to, we will open the mic, Diana. I just wanted to, just a few of your key takeaways before we open the mic to questions, because I really do want to have the team, the persons on the call, an opportunity to interact.
Key takeaways. So the selection, and then after you select and you bring people on board, the ownership with new hires must not only be information, but it must be inspirational, such that they can see themselves in the vision. You need to be able to create a foundation so that team members can experience the desired culture. You need to be able to create loyalty with internal and external partners. You want to communicate, coach, measure, and reward performance. These are very important. And this number 5, listen to me. This takes a lot of courage, but I put it here because it is very important to be brave and swift to fire even good, technically strong people based on inconsistency with the culture that you want to develop. If you're not here at number 5, you are going to have a difficult time building the culture.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We have a few minutes, so we're not rushing the questions. I would invite any of the participants to open mic and you know, let's ask Diana some questions. Let's put her on the spot. Anybody has got a question? Let me see if anybody is opening their mic. This is your opportunity to talk to Diana.
Hi, Diana. This is Paul. I posed a question earlier on which created the chicken egg scenario. I would take you back to your explanation regard to the parking space. Your culture, I think, drove that action towards making the parking space available for all team members so that all men or women, as the case would have been, also are treated equally. So I think similarly to the fact that you can have actions that evolve into a culture can also, which is probably a better way to spearhead, drive the actions within the organization towards it permeating the activities and people feeling all inclusive. What are your thoughts on saying?
Definitely. Let me tell you what exactly was the result of that. So Donna was the CEO, or she was managing director at the time, so she was at the head of the organization. And in a way, the decision the action was prompted by a request that she made. needing somewhere to park because she was rushing out or rushing in and out for different meetings. And so it was prompted by that. So my girl at the time, she had to apologize to the whole no, she chose to, because of her needing to make sure that we are acting consistent with who we say we are. So Donna stood up in front of the whole organization and apologized for taking an action or prompting or supporting an action that was inconsistent with who we say we are. Now, when a leader is able or willing and put themselves in that, being vulnerable enough to do that, that is where, yes, it more than likely going to end up building the kind of culture that you want to build, because we're not perfect, so you're going to make mistakes. But when you can stand up, realize, oh, that's not happening, and that's not what we want to happen, and we're going to fix it, then yeah, you're on the way.
And I think was Horace mentioned it in the chat, I believe, about culture starting from the top. So if the top is inconsistent, well, then the culture will be confused, and it will, because it won't. You will say one thing on paper, and then you
hear something different.
Something different. People don't believe you.
You lose trust and you lose people, and yeah.
Yes, Tamara has her hand up. So Tamara, go ahead and on mic and ask your question.
All right, good night, everybody. I am so loving this meeting. Thank you so much for putting it on. I have two questions quickly. One, going back to be brave and swift to fire even good persons. Mm-hmm. At what point would you say is the point where, as a business owner, you are willing, if everybody doesn't fit what you are doing? You start out and the cousin and everybody recommends somebody, and you work with who you have until you realize the unfit. Do you weigh the cost of retraining? Remember, everybody you fire, there's a cost, or let go. There's a cost of training somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so how and when do you weigh the cost to say, okay, you don't fit, let me, train somebody else? And do you support that drastic move to say, listen, everybody's not fitting because of how I started with a recommendation from cousin to cousin, and now I have knowledge of, what I want, let me start afresh? Do you recommend that to small businesses?
So I'm not going to say, send home everybody and then come and look on the place by yourself the next morning.
Definitely not.
But I would say there's a process to it. So we start like, I'm just going to give you one place to kick off, because the rest of it is a process that you have to go through. And as I said, we can support you in having that conversation and working it through. But when you start to measure it now, right? So you say, okay, you know what? This is not working. All right, you sit down with a consultant or with somebody or yourself or whoever, your family, whoever on the team, and you say, all right, let us put together what are the key performance matrix in this situation. And you go from technical to soft, and you say, these are the things you want to see. This is how you're going to measure it, so and so and so. You start there. And then you're now able to say, okay, Mary, this is what is expected of you. And you're clear that over this period of time, this is how you're going to be measured. And this is what is important to the organization. And this is what we're going to be looking for. So you start the conversation by putting on the table what it is, so that they can know that this is what we are looking for. This is what success means to us. And everybody have the same measurement.
Yes.
And then we start.
Thanks for that, Diana. Diana, there was another point number 3 just now, talked about the importance of the loyalty of your external partners. Tell us about how many times JMMB's clients have been the advocates for our culture and have called and said, okay, that's not your culture.
Okay, so I tell you that nobody perfect, right? So we have made some hiring mistakes, and I will never forget, years ago, we employed a particular person and we neglected to do proper background checks. And the person was on board and they're working And somebody who loves JMMB and think that they are JMMBites, which is true, they came over to us in HR. We were at the time, and they said they would like to have a conversation. And we went in a room, and they sat with us, and they said X, Y, and Z, and this is what their experience was with XY person at this other place, and they are shocked to know that we have them on board. So they would like us to explain to them, how do we say that we are integrity and this and that and ever so. And we had to thank them very much. And we opened back up our background check situation. And then we double checked to see what was written on the forms and stuff. And we checked and we saw the inconsistencies, and we had to have a proper nice conversation. The client said, this is not the company that I know. So hello, please go back and check what you're saying about integrity. The clients love us so much because they own the place. They feel like they are a part of it. When they see something inconsistent, they're going to call us. The clients are, I cannot even tell you, my heart full when I think about the loyalty from the clients from over the years with JMMB. And that's because they feel part of it, and that is how we make them feel. And why they can feel that is because the team members translate that to them. So they feel like they're part of the organization.
Yes, thank you for that. Dan, I see our clock is winding down. I want to see if I could get one more question in there. Is there anybody else who has a question? Okay, there we go. Here's Tamara. How do you prevent persons from overstepping within the winning culture? Overstepping. I guess, Tamara, maybe you'd have to mic up for that one.
Yes. All right. Yes. All right. So you're doing this culture. Everybody have a buy-in. Given that sometimes persons come to work and they're used to this heavy-handed management technique, where I am the boss, and so persons actually have to be trained into feeling that they're a part of things. So you hire persons who have that thing where this is the boss, and you have no leader culture where they feel, oh wow, all right, I'm a part of this. You're developing recipes. They have the say, and they feel they own it. However, I have found that you have few employees that take it as weakness. They take it because you're used to this heavy boss mentality. Mm-hmm. They think, they can run with it. And I don't know if I'm putting it.
I totally understand what you're saying, Tamara.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happens all over life, right? It happens everywhere in life. So it might happen with your helper because you treat them nice. You might end up finding that they, slack off here and stuff. But what you have to do, and this is why being open, clear, transparent, and having conversation is so important, because it is an ongoing process. So when you see something happening like that, you said, okay, come here, Charmaine. This thing, when we say that we want to have conversation, want to share our ideas, this is the context. So we are respectful. This is what respect means. We honor other person's ideas too. We share, we make sure that we listen, just everything that, and also we're clear that not every idea is going to be taken on board. So it is a lot of work. And this is why I say, when you see, like Book just said this thing about when you see the glamour and the glitter, you think it's better rose. But I can tell you for sure, it's the same thing in building a culture. It's a lot of work, and you have to be constantly doing the work inside of the details to say, this is what we say, and this is what it means. This is, look here, you see, when we started, for example, we say we're opening up benefits, and we are going to have a benefit that we call paternity leave. I think we might have been the first in the country to do that. Look here, we had people coming to us and telling us, look here, so what if I have 5 baby mother? we had to go and figure it out, and we had to say, so that's when no. So okay, so we are open. Oh, we have paternity leave, but then no, we have to go and we have to put it in the details to say, this is what it means. This is what we're talking about by being a parent of a child, and thing. What it means is I think we started by living with the expected mother for X time. I want to drill down,
Yes.
because you can always get that where people take advantage. When we say that we are dressed down and we are not casual, we're just relaxed dressing. We have to go and we have to explain the details. So this is the kind of jeans that we mean. This is what we mean by that. It was a lot of work.
Diana, yes, I think that's the point where we talked about it earlier about codifying the culture, because it's always subject to interpretation.
Yes.
I actually wanted to just kind of ask the question on behalf of a small business person, right? We talked about culture being from the top. We talked about leadership modeling. Who do I need to be as the owner of the business? Who do I need to be as the owner of the business to set the culture that I want it to be? It's a tough one.
I would say courageous. That's a major thing. You have to be courageous. You have to be authentic. I mean, when I say authentic, I mean, I'm not talking about going out there and sharing all of yourself. I'm saying be real. Don't be like, oh, I am this perfect person and I don't make a mistake. Be authentic so that you can say, this happened, this is what should have happened. So when people start to see you really coming out, and when people see that you're courageous, when you're having a tough conversation, people know that it hurt you too. It hurt you too to say no to a person. No, this can't work. And then no, let's see, you show your heart. And those are the things that I'll say. There are a lot of other things, but for sure, I know the courage and being authentic.
Awesome. I see Judith has a hand up. Judith, you can unmic and give us your question.
Is that when you are a manager and a leader, because you have managers and you don't have leaders, and you have some leaders who are not managers as well. And it doesn't matter who the individual is that you employ, you have to stand your ground when your grounds need to be stand. Whether it's your sister, your brother. I run a business, as why I'm here, and my son used to work with me, and I fired him on the spot.
Amen.
And I wrote a letter to him, and he went away for a year and a half, and then he came back and asked for his job. And when he came back and asked for his job, he didn't come to me and say, "Mommy, I need my job back." He wrote me a detailed letter as to how committed he was in doing the work and why I need to take him back in my office. And when I took him back into my office, he started after 3 months doing the same thing again. And I just sent him home and I said, "You won't have another employment in this job until the day I die. Then you might live to take it over. But I won't do it." The same thing happened. I employ a friend's daughter, and it's a small place, and we have somebody coming once per week to clean, and then you would clean during the interim just to sweep it out in the afternoon and to help to dust the shelves and organize. And she refused to do it. And I fired her too. I don't care if it's my mother. And I said to her, "You can go if it's even my mother. I am not I'm a leader, a manager in myself, and I have worked for what I have, and I will allow nobody on this earth to ruin it." So, and I got people coming in and begging me, and will be there 2-3 hours after work, organizing the office for work the next day.
Yes.
So people are there, and if you stand your ground, they will work. Sometimes you have to hold it by the horn. So as leaders, as small businesses, when they go into the big businesses, they do everything they have to do. But when they come to you as a small business owner, they want to dictate to you, and they are not capable of doing this. I said, "Well, you're not capable of doing it. Go to North America or anywhere else in the world. You have to mop the floor, you have to dust the shelf, you have to do everything that I am asking you to do, and you're not going to frown. $1, it's $1, it's in own country. I said the dollar you get in the US, it's just as difficult to spend in the US as it is to spend in Jamaica. So you must respect your country and try to build your country. And when I write my contract, I lay it out clear. So these are things as small business owner. Don't take friends and say, oh, is my friend this or that, I can't fire that person. But do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, your business is what suffers.
And you have to be thank you very much, Judy. You have to be very clear about what are non-negotiables, and
the courage and her courage to fire her son. I see Simone's hand is up. Simone, go ahead.
Yes, hi, good night, everyone. I finally found the raise hand button, you know. Good night, Diana, Lisa Maria, Natalia. I'm Simone Claxton, President and founder of the nonprofit organization, the Sophia Miriam Foundation. And I must say, I'm really, really proud to be part of the JMMB family for the past couple of years. I'm really, really proud. I met Lisa Maria last year, International Women's Day brunch, and it was the first time. She was so warm and friendly, and you know, the genuine spirit. I really must say that JMMB, you can feel that genuineness, that love. It really emanates, you know, in the culture of the organization, and you all are really, truly, you know, projecting a winning culture.
Thank you so much.
So you're like the ideal people to talk, about, you know, winning culture. You know, since I've met Carol a couple of years ago, Carol's been really, you know, it's just been a genuine concern and love and partnership and wanting people to really progress. You know, I spoke with Natalia recently after this Women's Day webinar, and it's the same thing. And it's like, I mean, how do you choose your people? It's like you're getting the same kind of, you know, that culture. Yeah, you're getting that same culture. So, you know, I'm really, really proud to be part of the JMMB family.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually, Diana takes credit for hiring, you know, at least about 80% of us. She hired me. So I think she did some good choosing. We have another question in the chat, a really great question. Let me read it from Margaret. Having left the private sector to join the public sector, there's an obvious culture change. So she left private, she's in public. What tips can you share in gaining buy-in for some brought forward strategies from the private sector that you are aware will assist in enhancing the effectiveness without having the resistance? That's a mouthful, but it's an excellent question.
That's a mouthful.
But it's a fabulous question.
Very, 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 very good and important question. So I have tried or have been approached by the public sector on numerous occasions to do work. The key is to engage the people at the top. That's the key. That's where you have to start. I mean, yes, you can try to influence your little sphere and how life happens in your department or your unit. And then again, if they need to interact and experience that culture that you are trying to do in your unit, and they're not experiencing it when they interact with somebody else, that's going to be a challenge. So if you really want to have a lasting impact and really, really deep, you know, session or have, you know, like intervention, if you want an intervention that is going to make an impact, it is important to engage at the top.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you for that, Diana. That really, you know, it sounds simple, but we know.
I have a question from Suzette about being a part of a merging called. I wanted to hear that question if you have to.
Oh, sure. Let me see. I'm part of a merging organization. Wow, 3 companies coming together. I think maybe she didn't finish it, but that's a great question, Diana. In terms of maybe talk a little bit about. Oh, yes, Suzette. Oh. Thank you, Suzette. Go ahead, ask your question.
Yes, thanks for allowing me. I'm part of this organization, actually 3 companies coming together. So what we have found is that what would have happened previously, we are losing a lot of that. Persons coming in, we have to be making room for them. The organization, the merged entity now has new core values. But I think in terms of promulgating a culture and going forward, I think that we kind of probably need more ideas. And part of the reason why I joined this session is because I just wanted to have, feelers out there kind of looking at how we make this happen. It's not a small organization, really. The staff complement is over 1,500. So it is really a tall order. Yes, it is a tall order. I'm a human resource officer with the organization, but I'm also looking at how I can support the vision going forward in terms of having that winning culture, because we really need to get there. So in terms of the organizations coming together, that's my challenge.
Yeah, the coming together is a challenge, and it's a delicate dance, and it requires a lot of focus, and it's big work. I know you're going to look at my website. So when you look at my website, you're going to see some people I work with, and I'm going to tell you because I know that they were very happy about the work. So I had to work with National Outdoor Agency when they were merging with iPrint, and the work and the impact, the results of that, I am proud. That's one assignment that I'm proud of, because I started working with these people who did not really understand what was needed to merge 2 different cultures. And it's not easy work. You have to be focused. There are a lot of components you have to pull together, the whole trip, the whole integration process, cultural integration, people integration. It's a lot of work, but it is possible. Once you have strategic buy-in and the leadership willing to put the time and resources around doing it and understand the importance of it. So it is work that you can get it. It's a process. It's not going to happen over time, but you have to figure out the pieces and pull it together. It's like when you're doing a merger, and you were 3 companies. Imagine, when you see those puzzles with like 1,500 and pieces, and your mind totally confused because you can't figure it out. That's kind of like what you're doing right there. But with time and with focus and planning, it can come together.
Diana, you know what? Sorry, I would like to add to that, because we've had a couple of mergers and acquisitions. And the point, Suzette, also is that I want to congratulate you for knowing that culture is important, because quite often mergers happen and cultures, that's not the focus of it. There's a whole lot of talk about the strategy, but that winning culture,
how challenging it is.
Yes, so congratulations for that, Suzette. I think you're on the right path. Much more, much more can help you. I think we have space to take maybe one more question before we close, if there is anyone. Oh, there, let's see. I think I see, yes. Let's see. If not, oh, yes, let's see. Okay, great. We have a lot of insights, a lot of comments. If not, I am actually going to hand you back over to Denise to close the evening. I just want to add my, thanks for being a part, for spending this time with you guys. It's been an hour and something, and it feels like 10 minutes. We could be here. I know we're going to thank that, especially we do this tag team thing, and it's always such an awesome conversation to share. So I'm going to hand you over to Denise.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Diana. I am sure that everyone here will agree that this was a very inspirational and informative 2 hours. So thank you so much. I feel like I just went back to orientation, Diana. So in addition to everything that was discussed here today, I just want to share with everyone that we have a JMMB SME Resource Centre directory. And this is a directory that is made up of our SME clients. And what we do is we share it with our clients so that they can form new business opportunities. So the services of our clients are listed as well as their contact information. So if anyone is interested in being added to our directory, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us either at our email addresses, or you can reach out to us to our client care center. And we are also at the New Kingston Business Center at Dominica Drive. We are at shop 42B. Also, we have our workshops approximately every 2 weeks, give and take what's happening. So if it is that you're interested in finding out about our workshops, please touch base with us. Our next workshop is going to be on the 27th of April, and it's going to be discussing code of ethics for SMEs. So now you know about the company culture, and then we're going to look at what ethics you need to make sure that you have in place so that your business continue to be strong and grow. So that is it for tonight. I also want to just thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to the entire SME team that's here tonight. I hope everyone continue to have a fabulous night, and I look forward to seeing you at our next workshop.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good night. Thank you.
Bye. What the hell?
Bye, Diana.
Oh, I was just wondering, why am I not leaving?
Oh,
we always stay on chat.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I was telling Diana just to hop back in.
Oh, she left. Okay.
Yeah, she should have indeed.
Great job.
Yeah, it was really good.
Hi, who's that? That's Shani?
Yes, yes.
Looking for your name to see if you were still there.
No, I was here launching the poll.
Okay, okay. I thought it was actually really good, very engaging.
Yeah.
We need to get Diana. She's so crazy. I just let me.
Oh, she's back.
She's coming.
Oh,
She's back. Yeah.
Miss Diana, you jump off.
Sorry, guys, I can stop the recording?
Yes.
Yeah, as I'm